Hi there, I'm Dark Shades, and this is the final part of this series between black men and women. I don't like to labour the point. It comes over as negative sometimes, and that's not my intention. My intention is for us to learn about each other and come to some sort of resolve. I've noticed there has been a lot of hostility in the responses. There are some men who've totally given up and feel that all black women are the same. I can't help them. They have their own issues. But in this video that I'm going to do now, it is about closing the gap, resolving the issues between black men and women, and it's about getting rid of that enmity that seems to be quite pervasive. And I believe that the first thing we have to look at is communication. Now, what was I going to say? Yeah, many of us communicate from a place that is not healed. And I'm talking about women here. There are men, but I'm talking about women because women are the issue that black men have. So as a black woman myself, I'm going to take responsibility. Now, the first thing is that a lot of black women have unresolved issues. They have soul ties that haven't been broken. They have ways of communicating that is not with unconditional love. And I believe that it is the crux of what is happening now. I'm going to read it from here. Many of us come from a place of fear, betrayal, disappointment and pain, which translates in our communication and makes it difficult for us to communicate in an unconditional way. Now, what I mean by that is that, everybody's been hurt. We live in a world where nothing is perfect. Everybody handles their issues differently, and depending on each individual's background, they are going to respond differently. So you're going to find black women who've had a stable upbringing, who are going to respond in a healthy way. And that's why I don't like the generalizations. And you're going to have black women who grew up without much, and now they've acquired much. They feel that they have a right to speak to people in an arrogant or disrespectful way. So you have those. And you also have those who are just kind of trying to get along, and who are not disrespectful. They're just trying to make things work. These are what you call the regular folk, the regular women. And I believe they are the majority. Now, what we're confronted with most of the time are those women who do not communicate effectively, who have an attitude, who get on their high horses, who feel that now they've acquired a certain amount of material goods, that it gives them the right to speak down to others, and especially to our black men. And this is what black men are having a problem with. They're having a problem with women who they deem have acquired quite a lot, and they want to make it with those women, but the women are shutting them down because they don't consider that they're equal to them. And they're not even giving them a leg up to help them to be equal. So we have communication on the first level. Especially those who are communicating when they haven't healed the hurt from betrayal and pain. And those people, as you know, the slightest little thing, they're going to jump up, they're going to get aggressive, they're going to be abrupt, and they're not going to communicate in a healthy way. The second thing is about making wrong choices. Some of us make wrong choices with our relationships, and because we make wrong choices, we're communicating with people who don't understand where we're coming from, who are not interested in knowing where we're coming from. The female isn't interested to know where the man is coming from, and the two people get together and they don't really know much about each other. Then all it takes is one trigger. They say something that their ex said, and that triggers off a reaction. The female shows a behaviour that the guy's ex has shown, and that gives him another reaction, and so it goes back and forth because they haven't made a choice out of unconditional love, or out of understanding, out of compassion, and out of a need for each other. A lot of people are not going with each other because they need each other. And I remember back in the day, one thing that parents used to do, our parents used to do, is they used to need their spouses. And because they needed their spouses to help them achieve their goals, they stuck with them through thick and thin. They stuck through them through adultery. They stuck through them through abuse. I'm not telling people to do that, but I'm just saying that if you need somebody, you're more likely to tolerate indiscretions. Yeah. I was going to give you an example, actually, of old behaviours. You know, when I think I did touch on it, but you know, like if you're dating with somebody, and then that person has a laugh or has a behaviour pattern that reminds you of a destructive relationship in the past, all of a sudden your back goes up and you start projecting on that person who has nothing to do with the past. And it's almost as though you have anticipated that the outcome is going to be exactly the same as the destructive relationship you had in the past, just because this new person has similar traits. Now, sometimes when people have similar traits, it can be a warning. Sometimes it can be there to teach you the lesson that you didn't learn from the first relationship, because they say when the same person keeps coming in your life, it's because you haven't learned the lesson. So what I'm trying to get through here now is that as black men and women trying to resolve these issues and close the gaps, we need to appreciate that we need to be compatible so that we don't have these perceptions of individuals. So if you have two ghetto people who are running up their mouths, let the ghetto people stay with the ghetto people. You know, if you're an aspiring person and you have ambition, you make sure that you find somebody who's equal to you, somebody who's as respectful as you are. If you have a God-fearing, if you're God-fearing, or you go to church, or, you know, you have a certain values and principles, you make sure you meet up or you surround yourself with people of a similar ilk, so that you're not one of these people who get damaged by mixing with the wrong people, by having the wrong people in your space. And then that's permeating, or perpetuating, I should say, the myth that all black women are this or all black men are that. We're all individuals and should be treated as such. What black men are picking up from black women is their unresolved pain. We don't even know that they're picking it up, but black men are very sensitive and they're very observant, and they watch things, they watch behaviours, and they watch how you speak to them, and they watch how you react when they do certain things, and they watch how you react when you're upset, and those kind of reactions triggers some kind of fear depending on their past experience, or it triggers reservation depending on their past experience. So what women need to do, especially black women who have been hurt and who have been betrayed and who have been abused, you need to heal. Whichever way you heal, you need to heal. Look at a video on soul ties, breaking the soul tie. Look on those videos if you're one of those women who still feel agitated and angry when a brother says something to you. Where's that coming from? Because the brothers are picking it up. They're picking up your unresolved pain. They're picking up your issues, and they don't like it. They don't want to be a part of that. So that needs to be resolved in whichever way before you take another person in your life. And then maybe once you've had those soul ties broken, you can even be more accepting, more amenable, more patient, more kind, more gentle with our brothers. Because that is the goal. The goal is for us to be gentle and loving to each other. It's not for us to be, shouting each other down, cursing each other, calling each other's names. It's not necessary. What we need to do is resolve the pain, resolve the issue. And that is what I'm trying to do with these videos. Also, black people have a special soul that other cultures don't have. That doesn't mean they don't have a soul, but there's something in the black person, a spiritual quality that permeates the whole of the race that other people do not have, and that needs to be protected. It can't be, you can't let negative and adverse incidences affect your soul, and that's what's happening. What's happening is intimate relationships from the past, effects of the past are affecting your soul and holding you down in bitterness. So that needs to be resolved, and you can only resolve that through spirituality. If you don't believe, well, depending on what your spirituality is, we all have our own ways, but you must believe in the Creator, number one. Believe in a bigger force than yourself, because only in believing in a larger force than yourself can you begin to adjust, have faith that things can change for the better. So you don't have to live in fear, and you don't have to live in a way that is not productive for both our brothers and our sisters. Black women are constantly pointing the finger at our black brothers. That needs to change. Not all black brothers are going to be on your level. Not all black brothers have the opportunities that you have. Just because you have a high-paying job, just because you have your own house, just because you have a beautiful car, just because you can buy high-class clothes and wear expensive perfume, doesn't mean you put our brothers down. You need to stop doing that, because their opportunities are different from ours. As females, we're able to get a job easier. We're able to find out, we can use our allures and get what we want. They don't have that privilege. So you need to be mindful of what they're going through to try and please us as women. They're doing their best, a lot of them. You do have the dropouts, and you have the drug dealers, and you have those who are in prison, and you have all these other gamut. I know they exist, but you need to stop putting men who are trying down. And you know how you know if they're trying? Is if they have a job and they're trying to work long hours. You can tell they're trying if they're improving their education. You can tell if they're trying if they're reading. You can tell if they're trying to find out about you, your family, your background. You can tell if they're trying just because. So nobody is better than the other. We're all the same in the eyes of the Father. So don't get on your high horse and put our black brothers down, because this is the cause of so many wars, I was going to say, because I wrote a poem about that. But this is the cause of why black men have so much hostility against black women, because the black women are behaving as though they're superior to them, when we should be equal. We should be working together, and if one is better off than the other, they should be supporting to bring some balance. Whoever's better off, they should be trying to give some balance. We shouldn't be selling our birthright to other people. We shouldn't be discarding our brothers and sisters just because they're not equal in your eyes. So just try and be mindful and conscious about your behaviour and how you speak to them especially when you know they don't have the same opportunities, and the majority of you do know that. So don't slam them down, don't beat them down. Yeah, I think that is all. I was going to say that, you know, for black women, if you are well off, I'm not telling you to not be proud of that, if you, especially when some of you have worked so hard, long hours, and so yeah, you are going to be proud of what you've achieved on your own, whatever, however way you've achieved it. But what I am trying to say is, embrace and appreciate that affluence, but don't use it as a wielding tool over our black men. And that's all for this series. I hope it makes sense. I look forward to your comments. This channel is actually supposed to be for news, but I inadvertently put it on this channel. I do have another channel called Dark Shades, which is more to do with relationships and general stuff. And so I'm more likely to put future relationship videos on that channel as opposed to this one, for consistency. But I hope you like this little series, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.